Hey everybody, Just Watching Movies here. Thank you for stopping by and checking out my worst movies of 2017. If you guys like videos like this, trailer reactions, ranking videos, free Funko Pops, and Blu-ray hauls, consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification down below so you guys don't miss a thing. Alright guys, it's time to talk about the worst films of 2017. We're going to get the worst films out of the way first, then we're going to do a best list later on. We're going to jump into this worst list of 2017. I'm not even going to include some dishonorable mentions. I'm going to do a straight top 10 worst films of 2017. As always, there's some films I just did not see. I did not see Sleepless, I did not see Flatliners, and some other movies that are making their rounds for worst films of the year. I just did not check them out because I didn't have time or I just did not want to. So let's start this list off with number 10. The Bye-Bye Man was a horribly written character whose presence really wasn't felt. I didn't feel that he was any harm to these kids, these teenagers, college students that were involved in this movie. I didn't really feel like they were at danger when the Bye-Bye Man was discussed or even shown in the movie. The Bye-Bye Man didn't really do much to make this a good horror film that started off in January, and it was one of the worst written horror movies of the year. Kidnap took some years to come out. It was completed a few years ago and now it's finally released and it's not worth the time. String of horrible, bad decisions on Halle Berry's part led to a very repetitive movie of a mom trying to find her son that was kidnapped. There was a lot of moments where Halle Berry's character just made some really bad decisions and really could have saved her son earlier on. But it was written into the movie where it could be repetitive and add some more moments to this movie so it could draw out the screen time. If you didn't turn your back on the son to answer that phone call in the beginning of the movie, the whole movie wouldn't have happened and I probably wouldn't have to watch it. Wish Upon was another badly written movie. When you have a character, your main character, as someone who is experiencing these death-like moments from this wishing box, and you want her to actually die, you know you've written a bad character. I didn't feel any sympathy for this young girl and her losing some family members and her friends or things happening to her. I did not care because she was arrogant, she was greedy. And then you had this wishing box which had this demonic presence in it that we didn't even get to really experience. So that added on top of this already horribly written movie. 2017 was a good year for Stephen King. Had two Netflix movies that were really good, and then you had It, but you also had a really bad film with The Dark Tower. The Dark Tower had some really big celebrities in this movie like Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba, but their one-note performances could just not add to this movie that was balancing two different worlds at once. And I really did not get to know that other world that this young boy had traveled to find the gunslinger. I really did not care about that world. I did not care about any of the characters at all. And their performances were just very boring. 50 Shades Darker is no better than 50 Shades of Grey. We are continuing to see these characters that are just so flat. Nothing about this couple is interesting. They have nothing going on in their life that I would actually want to know about. The performances are very flat and boring. The dialogue is very cringeworthy. And when you have a story like this that I think some people might be interested in, this has a really big target audience. And when you have a movie like this and you kind of craft it as boring and bland and flat and really stupid and not really taking itself seriously, then you have a bad movie that people are going to trash and put on this list for worst of the year. You had the first one that a lot of people did not like, and now you have this one that still a lot of people do not like. It's because of the acting, it's because of the dialogue, it's because of the overall tone of the movie. It is just so bad. I was looking forward to Chips. I thought it'd be like 21 Jump Street where you're going to bring back an old television show into a comedy form, and I just did not laugh at all. I took my wife to see this and she laughed and she thought it was a really funny movie. I just thought this movie was so dull. It was so dumbed down. And I like the actors involved. I like the storyline. It's pretty cool. And I haven't watched any of the show, but this movie Chips just was It was unfunny. There was no chemistry between Michael Pena and Dax Shepard. The action scenes involved didn't feel like action scenes. The comedy moments just didn't feel like a comedy. It wanted to be an action comedy, but it was just a boring storyline with some dumbed down characters. And it took a really popular show and really didn't do it any justice. I haven't seen the show, but I've heard a lot about it. And now I don't even want to check out it again. Or I don't even want to check out the show because I'm afraid of it being this bad. Transformers: The Last Knight is easily the worst Transformers film I have seen, and throughout these whole trailers, we seem to be getting a different character of this young girl who's going to work alongside Mark Wahlberg, but they completely forgot about that character in the middle part of the film. We see her a little bit in the beginning, a little part at the end, and then nothing else about her, and that's like your whole trailer is revolved around this girl and we don't even see her. What were they thinking? And then we had Sir Anthony Hopkins, who probably gives the worst performance of the year and provided us for one of the worst characters I have seen in a long time. Throughout the trailers, it was really cool. He was doing the voiceover, talking about history and different things like that, and then you saw the character and you're like, my God, how can they do this? How can they write a character so bad that you just, you think about the trailer, it's kind of cool, and then you have this character and it's just, it is horrendous, and it's honestly so surprising that they went that route with that character. But besides that, the humor just fell flat. It was awkward. The visuals, once again, are really good in any Transformers film, but the characters were really bad, and the story really didn't amount to anything, and there was just so much going on that I was just confused about what was happening in this movie. I saw Diary of a Wimpy Kid with my wife and Almost Sideways, and this movie, it was bad. It was bad. We were the only 3 people in that theater, and I could see why no one wanted to see this movie. It was a really awkward kid movie, and I really admired the first 3 Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies. I thought they were pretty fun, but this one was just, it was so bad. The character of Roderick was so awkward, and the way he acted just was, he needed some acting classes. And Alicia Silverstone was like the only good part about this movie, and still she was really bad. It was a movie that had many plot points that just really didn't feel like it was necessary to even make this movie. It didn't tell a very intriguing storyline. It didn't even tell an interesting storyline. And I like the other 3, and I've read most of the books when I was younger, but now it's just like I don't even care about watching this movie. And as I was watching this movie, I was just trying to think to myself, where is this really going to go? How is it going to end? What is the point of this movie? It is so awkward. The humor was just so dumb, and it was just so boring. It was a really bad film, and I'm sorry for Adam from Almost Sideways, my wife, that you guys had to sit down and watch this with me, because it was a bad film. Coming in at number 2 is the Emoji Movie. A lot of people have bashed this film. We already know how bad it is. It is a horrible film that has a lot of product placement, and it is a film where you really don't care about your main character because your main character is meh for most of the time. And if you have a character that's meh, you're going to feel meh. There's no energy in the meh character, so you're not going to feel excitement. You're just going to feel meh for the whole entire film. And that's how I felt when watching the Emoji Movie. But it is not as bad as this film. This film is the worst film I have seen in 2017. The worst film in 2017 goes to yes, The Circle, starring Tom Hanks and Emma Watson, is the worst film of 2017. I did not know what this story was about because it was going nowhere. There were so many moments in this film that had nothing to do with the storyline or were just happening so the storyline can grow into something different. The moment when Emma Watson goes out into the lake, the river, wherever she went with that boat, and really bad camera sequences, I didn't understand what that moment was about at all. And a lot of times in this movie, I just was confused as what was happening, what is the point, where is this going? And the writing is just so bad in this movie. It's so boring. It feels very distracted, like there was so much that they wanted to talk about, and they never knew how to execute those moments. So they decided to go with some random scenes thrown out. They had a lot of characters that I was confused about what their backstory was or what their purpose was in the film. I remember seeing this movie, I think in March or April, and just thinking it was so bad. I saw it on a Friday morning, and the theater was not really full, and I was sitting there the whole time going, oh my God, what am I seeing right now? And that really stuck with me through the whole year. After seeing the Emoji Movie, after seeing Diary of a Wimpy Kid, after seeing Kidnap, after seeing Wish Upon, The Circle stands with me as the worst film I have seen this year. So there you guys have it. All of the worst films I have seen this year, the top 10 worst films of 2017. Leave your list down below for your pick for the worst films of 2017. I'm excited to see what your worst films are. I don't want to watch any of these movies ever again. They were bad. Make sure to stay tuned for my best list. We're going to talk about some good things. We're going to talk about the best movies of 2017. If you guys like the year 2017, you like movie montages and movie mashups, consider checking out my movie montage, movie mashup I made for 2017, all of the fun movies that year. The link will be down below for that, and you can find it on my channel. You guys are the best as always. We're getting down to the last remaining days of 2017. Thank you for making it a great year. Let's make 2018 even better. You guys are the best as always. Let's just watch movies, and you stay classy too.